Now, to begin, we would like to acknowledge that tonight's event is taking place on the treaty territory of the Mississaugas of New Credit and the traditional territory of the Haudenosaunee, the Anishinaabe, and the Huron-Wendat. And we're very grateful to have the opportunity to work in the community. This film is eligible for the Girls People's Choice Award. Please vote. Go online, tiff.net/vote. I'd like to thank the people that brought us this evening's film, Kino Lorber and Wild Bunch. And a big thank you goes to Unifrance for hosting us when we go to Paris for our screenings and being so supportive of Toronto and bringing all the filmmakers here. Now, Jean-Luc Godard really needs no introduction. For 60 years, he's made films that have literally changed cinema. And he has himself continued to change and evolve as an artist, always growing, always asking questions, always interrogating. Now, Le Livre d'Images, the image book, is the most recent chapter in his remarkable filmography. And at Cannes this year, he was awarded a very special Palme d'Or, the first time, in fact, that the festival had actually done this. And the jury said that it arrived like a bombshell when it was screened in competition. It was so different, it was so unique, it was so challenging, they couldn't stop talking about it. I think it's appropriate that in my last year as director and CEO of TIFF, we are showing a new film by Godard, because I started my life as a cinephile when I was at university, and I saw one of his masterpieces, or two of them actually, when I was 19 years old, Weekend and Pierrot le Fou, and it literally changed my life. I was a history student, and I moved into cinema because of these two films. Now, over the years, Godard has worked with many, many collaborators, some extremely famous. And the Swiss director, producer, and cinematographer Fabrice Arregno is one of them. He's worked with Jean-Luc Godard since 2002 in a variety of capacities. On Notre Musique, he had a credit for direction. On film Socialisme for picture and sound. Adieu au langage, he developed the 3D effects in this film. And for those of you who've seen it in 3D, they were highly unique. And he was intimately involved in the production of the image book. So please join me in welcoming tonight's special guest, Fabrice Arregno.
Thank you. Well, thank you. I am Fabrice Arregno, but no, I am quite emotional of what your nice introduction, not about me, but about the Godard film. And yes, I just wanted to say just a little words before the image. So it's the first in North America. It's first in English-speaking parts. The film is in French. There is some small other language, the Arabs, but mainly in French. But Jean-Luc wanted to do an English subtitle, so he did himself, yeah. The translation and the subtitling, but he made in a Godard way. So not all the text is translated, but it's quite interesting because it's like a concentration of the meaning. And you can read it as a long poem during all the film. Or sometimes it's my feeling. Never Jean-Luc said to me, oh, it's like a long poem, but it's my feeling. Or sometimes it can be like a haiku, Japanese, just like this. And other thing, I'm sure that you know Godard, you know his work, you read some or you write some on his work. But always I say, maybe don't try to understand, just let things come. And I think for this, for me, it's like this. The best way to receive the film is just to let us receiving image, sound, and words, even if it's a few words in English. Okay, have a nice sound and image screening. Thank you.
Please welcome Fabrice Arregno.
Merci. Thank you.
Maybe we could start, Fabrice, with just the nature of your collaboration with Jean-Luc on this film. There's probably so many films we could talk about, but just what was the nature of the collaboration on Book of Images?
Well, at the beginning, it's as not every day, every week we see each other. on Tuesday. It's kind of the day that we meet, and no, but I do everything or nothing. But this film, it was more edit film, or you say in English, found footage film.
Exactly. Yeah.
It's, where I help him to rebuild his edit station on tapes, videotapes. He edit on videotapes. I know if you know how to edit in videotapes, it means that it's not a computer edit. It's just you play rec on a tape and then play, pause, play rec. It's really very manual way of editing. So the machine is old because it's a machine of 98 or like this. So the first was to recreate the edit station so he could edit the film again. And then I do some images and some sound stuff, technique things. And few after we needed to find money to finish the film because the first producer could not. There was in a difficult period, so they could not finish the film. So I proposed him to produce, and then I become producer. Also, after producing image, sound, I produce film. Also.
Do you talk conceptually at all, or is it really at a technical level and he knows what he's trying to do conceptually, or he takes him a little while to find what he's trying to do? And so are you there as a sounding board with him at all to talk with him about some of the ideas, or is it really just, as you've described it, a little bit on the technical side?
Yeah, no, it's more on concrete things. Techniques or cut in sound or cut in image. For example, when at the end we work together for weeks, but every day there on the film, making the mix, which is not a mix because there is no two sound mixed together. It's every sound is separate on a loudspeaker. We have two sounds, you have two loudspeaker or two tracks. But to make all this, we work together and we don't discuss a lot. We feel, I think this is better. It's more like we don't discuss about philosophy on each minute. So it's not.
Does he conceptually talk about the film beforehand when you're about to embark on a film like this? Do you have those kinds of conversations that he's trying to do this?
No, he never says this.
He doesn't express
never say,
that.
I want to try to do this, or I want to try to express this. It's more, I prefer this. Oh, this is more paint, or this is more interesting because there is some dynamics. The sound is loud, or the sound is faible. It's more like, yeah.
And maybe because Jean-Luc is obviously not here, and you've seen the film many times, how do you, in terms of, this is a very difficult film for all of us to read on one viewing, as you can well imagine. There's so much going on. And now you've seen it many times. I've only seen it really twice. And now this film I think you'd have to grapple with many times. How would you maybe express to the audience what you think Jean-Luc is trying to say? Don't want to put you on the spot.
I hope that no camera is recording that Jean-Luc could see it. So, no, I don't know. I know what I feel.
How do you feel then?
How I feel. It's hard to say because it's image and words and more images. In French, image means métaphore. Faire une image, c'est faire une métaphore. I don't know. There is something about. Well, it's about our world. It's about 200 years of history, but until now, it's about the cinema. But it's strange because you see the film in a cinema, but Jean-Luc edited on a TV, with a flat screen, with video machine. It was more for the TV, the video, and. First, we thought that the film, we think we want, and we're still doing this in Switzerland, not screen the film in a cinema, but in a small place, as is in his studio, with a flat screen and loudspeaker, where we put loudspeaker where we want. for example, in a theater or in a museum or in a classroom or everywhere. So a garage or a whole church or, like this. But as we had the selection in Cannes and we decided to go to Cannes, so we did a version for the cinema. So we use the 7.1 sound and stuff. But still it's the same. For this, I forget to say it before. I don't know if you noticed, but the curtain on the left were open. It's not a mistake of the technician, very good technician. But I ask this because it's... Jean-Luc never says this, but it's my feeling that we can see the image of the film in a screen image, that it's a screen of the cinema, the classic cinema. And it's like the film is like after the cinema, after the thing it's done. It's whole film made with small VHS images, little paint with a whole video.
So you wanted the frame within the larger frame because it's not masked
it's like
correctly.
A souvenir, a remember of what it will be the cinema. I don't know. It's like in Switzerland we present the film in a theater. In the same time that the 4 last films he did, Éloge de l'amour, Notre musique, Film socialisme et Adieu au langage, in a cinema, in a cinematheque. But this film is outside the cinema, in another place that we recreate un nouveau lieu de cinéma, a new place of cinema. Like maybe Jean-Luc says this. It's maybe like going back to the Grand Café Lumière at the beginning. So just
I've read somewhere that he actually it could be an installation, as you've just described. It could be on multiple screens. That's one way of showing it.
Last Tuesday, say, but you can do it in a coffee.
Yeah.
But without a screen, and then the public can watch in front, it can be screened everywhere, and the chairs like this, and the sound can be with 8 loudspeakers around, and you can see the film, and the sound will move. Somehow a little like Café Muller from Pina Bausch, with a chair.
When I saw it, I've just seen it for the second time, and what really struck me about this film, it's not even a question, maybe we'll throw it to the audience right now, but it struck me as being such an intimate conversation that he was having with his filmic memories. There's so many of them, of course, and he begins to tie that to his own cinema. There's the wonderful scene with Jean-Luc Godard, and I think it's a scene with Anna Karina from Le Petit Soldat?
Oui.
So there's this conversational moment where they're talking about lies. And so there's this part of the film, which is him, of course, because he's such a cinephile and he's obsessed with the history of cinema. So there's that part of the film. And then there's another part of the film, which, of course, is the documentary, which is him really grappling with the external world. This is not his conversation with cinema. This is his actual conversation with the nightmarish events of the 20th century, the Holocaust, atomic bomb, et cetera, and all the conflicts, and then, of course, moving that into the 21st century, because it's a film about war and conflict.
But it's a prison.
So there's a sort of the grander world, and then there's also this really intimate series of conversations. Yeah, I don't know if that resonates with anybody, but that's on my second screening. That really resonated with me.
But everything that he see, it's in his little salon, his living room.
Yeah, his screening rooms. Yeah, sure.
And he see a lot of TV, news TV, or classic film, TCM, or like
Turner Classic Movies, exactly.
Or the news.
He's watching the news all the time, is he?
So it's what we have here. It's the present and the past in cinema, and the present in the TV news and all the.
So tell me a little bit about the way he colorizes, and that's this incredible distortion of image. Why do you have any conversation? Or is this again just an intuitive him wanting to,
I want to make painting. You want to make.
Right.
But for me, it's also. For example, I love the. I don't know how we do it because when he made the edit on tapes, I retake the tapes, I put it on a computer. And I try to refound the same images, but with a better quality from Blu-ray or from other. and there is a lot of time that it was not interesting to go to the best, a better images. A better, not not exactly better. For example, in the 5th chapter, La Région Centrale, where there is these two image of the Earth of Dovzhenko, a man and a woman like this, with this beautiful text about the time and the after the time and the stop of the time. For me, it's about death and love. I don't know. It's my expression. And, he knows that the death will come. There is inside the film all this, and also in Goodbye to Language for me.
And it's the last image too. Of course, the last image is the dance, and then the sort of the death.
Yeah.
You know that La Région Centrale is a very famous Canadian experimental film. You do that.
There is a few images that we take from Raitre.
Of Michael's film?
Yeah, but because we don't find the tapes, I found the VHS, because in the Italian TV, they screen this kind of film.
They screen La Région Centrale on Italian television. Good for them. Wow, we should get the CBC to do that, no?
No, really. Raitre, it's really a good TV, because... and also the long zoom in of Michael Snow. I don't remember the name.
Wavelengths.
Yes, also
Wavelengths, thank you.
I don't know how it would be in one writer on a 4:3 TV, but well, no, the painting. For example, the depth for the Earth. I tried to find better images. I found it and I edited it on the image. And when Jean-Luc said it, he said, "No." He was angry against me. He said, "No, you don't understand. You don't understand." He said, "But I don't know, because me, I was in the emotion of the woman in the arms of the man, expecting something, expecting the death. I make my own travel with this, and I think in the image that I found from a Blu-ray, we see more the expression in the eyes, and he said, 'No, you don't understand.' He was afraid, and then I canceled what I did." And this is the image that he had from a VHS, and all these grainy things. It's more, I don't know. It's more. There's more emotion in this than to be clear and like Botox. No, it's against all this kind of restoration of because it's not life. It's just already the death. Botox is already the death. It's not to become old. It's normal. To become young, it's not normal.
Let's go to you guys. Who wants to start with the first question? Right over here.
If you have some kind of recommendation how to watch it, to maximize the experience.
How would you recommend watching this film for the experience? Is the question.
As an example, I find I have to watch it just sort of, it's so fast, just to let them just flow and sort of not think about it, not process the question, let the statements made later sort of activate something subconscious.
So the images washed over him, and basically just they came at him so quickly, and it was almost like absorbing them into your unconscious.
I don't know. The best is to do the film, because myself, I love to walk. It's not easy in the cinema, but during the film because I know the film, but I can go behind. Or, for example, in Cannes, it was incredible. The screen and the theater was, and during the rehearsal, I walk until it was nice because we did the rehearsal during the night with the theater empty. And this Grand Théâtre Lumière empty, it's incredible because the sound really make 50 meters to calm. And I made a travel during the rehearsal until the Paradis, the back. It was incredible just to see the film with the image very far away and just in the arm of the sound, because sometimes the sound is just back. And it's good to have... and Jean-Luc wanted always separate the image and the sound. Even on the edit or dans son salon, in his living room, we put the loudspeaker outside of the TV. Just two big loudspeakers outside of the TV, just to separate. He had it on 2 tracks, left and right, but the sound is separate. And when we had to do a print for Cannes, but we play with a 7.1, with the surround and what there is in the cinema. No. But I hope that the film will travel in different places. In Europe, in Switzerland, we will do it in church,
All different kinds of venues.
Yes.
Yeah.
And when I proposed him in this church, it will be in La Chaux-de-Fonds, in the city, 1,000 meters high. There is a whole church. And I say, but the sound is very, make a big resonance.
It echoes.
He said, oh, it's nice, great. Use this to.
Another question. Over here.
Yes? No. It's
Did everyone hear that
very-
question?
Yeah.
More or less? Okay. Go ahead.
No. He did a kind of script, which is not a script that you can imagine, because it's not words just on paper. It's images, and this I never remember the name. Une étagère.
A bookshelf?
A bookshelf, une étagère, Ikea, tu sais, les étagères. Ouais. A bookshelf, okay. Yes, this is a kind of work that we did together. I go to Ikea. You have Ikea here, no? Okay. And I brought bookshelf of wood. The model is Ivar. I can make the publicity because it's a very good, because I hope they don't stop it, because we build every chapter is one bookshelf, and on each chapter there is scene, and on every shelf. Every shelf, we put the DVDs or the books or the idea of each sequence, and it's also on paper. He made the collage on paper. So the idea is quite very clear at the beginning. He had it like he think before on the paper and on the bookshelf, and after he's very. But also the same thing with Goodbye to Language or Film Socialisme or Notre Musique. If something appears and it goes inside the idea, it keep it. He can change his mind in 1 second. For example, if I don't know if there is a lot of kind of bug in the film, that stuff unexpected, and he said no, we keep it. It's important that. But you see, for example, the image is moving. But first, it's a TV automatic scale, changing from 4:3 to 16:9. You know, the TV always change. And he said, "Oh, this is good because sometimes the change of the TV is random, but it's like the TV think about how to." So we keep it. So I film the screen and I redo the stuff. So it's clear, it's precise, it's prepared, and then also free. Voilà.
So that was an accident.
Which one?
When you move from the just different aspect ratios.
Yeah, at the beginning, yes.
Yeah, it was at the beginning. But you liked it. He liked it.
Yeah.
It's funny. It's one of those things you really notice during the film, isn't it? The way it pops from different aspect ratios. Right over here. Whose contribution?
Nicole Brenes. Oh no,
Yes.
Nicole Brenes. Oh, she did a lot, because she is archaeologist. We called her the archaeologist. Because Jean-Luc, for example, for the train sequences, the third sequences, it's just about trains, footage trains. But Jean-Luc asked to Nicole des images de train, images of trains, and Nicole bring to Jean-Luc a lot of this kind of image. And there is the first images of the train where it's black and white. I think it's also Canadian. Yes, it's Canadian. Black and white, negative, positive.
Maybe a David Rimmer film. But anyway.
I don't remember the name exactly.
Sorry, who is it? Rizzutis. Al Rizzutis.
It's not credited? Okay. I hope.
Oh, it is credited. Bruce Elder. That's Bruce, right? So you got it at the Al Rizzutis record. Okay.
No, because Nicole, the first contact through Nicole and Jean-Luc was with this film. When Jean-Luc, Nicole sent it to Jean-Luc, and he said, "Oh, it's very interesting." And Jean-Luc discovered a lot of filmmaker through Nicole.
It's funny, the big exhibition that Jean-Luc did in the Pompidou Center, which was sort of a funny project for him, which was a semi-unrealized project, had a big train through it as well, big train set. I don't know if you must have seen that. I'm sure.
Yeah. We have also a toy train where we put cameras on it. We use it for Goodbye to Language, and now maybe we will redo for the new project.
Right. I think we got time for one more question. Is that right? Over here.
The last chapter, La Revue Heureuse, is a novel, Ambition dans le désert, and the film changes and seems to be much more text-based and narrative-based there. Not narrative-based. Talk a bit about that section.
So the last bit of the text, what was the name of the novel?
Une ambition.
Okay, I can't get that one. It's somewhat based on a novel, and so the last chapter is very text-based. And so the question is, basically, why?
Why? No, I could just say that the first idea. But at the beginning, you don't had a lot of. There were 6 ideas at the beginning. There was a film made about this novel of Albert Kosri, an Egyptian author living in Paris when he was in Paris too. So they know each other. And he wanted to do the other 5 chapters. And then the idea became to make the l'Arabie heureuse, Rose Arabie, becomes the 6th chapter or the end. And then there is the 5 fingers, the 5 chapters, and the both make the Arab. The why, it's because a film is like a candy bar, a sucre candy for Jean-Luc. He's living. He made 4 years. It's not that it takes 4 years to do, but he lived 4 years, and during this time, he have a film to do. Or yes, it's a film to do because he has a producer who asks him. Well, it's a place where he can put all the things that he feels, that he reads, it's like like the sugar on the bottom of the candy. So it's crystallized to something, but it's a film. So, he needs to do the film. It's like a way of I don't know, avancer. Yes, living. Yeah. No, really, but and really, when he was sick, now he's good, but he was sick. Yes, there is something of death. You feel what is the death coming. Now death escape a little, but I don't know. Remember what I wanted to say with this, with this death, but no, it's a way of yes. It's an artist, though. It's like a painter making. I will dance further.
That's it. Robert, thank you very much for being here. Robert Gregg, great, wonderful translator. And Fabrice, thank you for being here. And you guys, thank you.
But I don't escape. No, I don't escape. If you have other questions, I'm outside.
He's here.
Thank you to you.